All right. So what is your heart telling you? There are aspects of the heart that are designed to provide oxygen for escape when there are no emotions present. The heart is designed to help you escape and always looks for a way out of the environment it has found itself in when emotions aren't expressed. The reason for this is that when someone is not expressing an emotion, then there is an element of the inhuman that could mean trouble. So imagine in the wild, something is staring at you and has no emotion. What is about to happen? Something is staring at you. You're out in the wild. It has no emotion.
It's violent. It's aggressive. It's come towards you.
Yeah, and what's it going to do? Eat you.
Kill you.
It's going to eat you. So in the body, with these pre-programmed for survival, the body knows if there's no emotion present, this could be serious trouble. But the truth is, when you're in an environment and with conflict with another person, they're a human being. Human beings have emotions. So if you're imagining no emotion, this is your fears that you're projecting into this other person. It's not that they don't have emotion. The other person is human, not a hungry wild animal who wants to eat you. So it is a misinterpretation of the environment you find yourself in, not a true manner of the person or persons with whom there is conflict. In other words, if you think what they are expressing is without emotion and it makes you feel fear. How many of you have been in an environment or argument with someone and you feel like they have no emotion whatsoever? What you're dealing with? Yeah, it's scary. That's how I have felt in environments like that. Okay, what's actually happening is you are projecting into them your fears instead of seeing the other for what he or she is. This is common in people who were damaged at a young age by a caretaker, whether through neglect or abuse. When you're young, there's nothing you can do to change your circumstances. However, when we see that as an adult we can control our circumstances and there's not an experience that we have to have, we can escape these environments as an adult that we couldn't do as children. This is how we can see others, start to see others then in a different way. I remember, this isn't an exact example, but I remember this moment very distinctly happening. I ate some of my roommate's leftovers. And when he asked, who ate my food, I was going to lie. And I thought, wait a minute, this isn't my parent. I don't have to lie. He's not going to ground me, or spank me. I don't have to lie about it. I did it. I ate it. Right? So that was like a light bulb went off when that happened. I remember that very moment when I knew I am no longer this kid who has no control over what's going on in my life. These people with whom we have conflict are not our parents. I just said that. They have had completely different experiences and will often be there to support us if we allow them to see our vulnerability rather than these explosions of emotion. Because when we explode with emotion, the other is more likely going to turn us into the enemy rather than someone who's experienced a childhood trauma. It's in this situation where we are no longer a victim. Honestly, we're no longer a victim, and especially so in the other person's eyes. So it's important not to behave like one. If we put ourselves in the wild again and imagine victim as prey in the presence of a predator, if you act like prey, what's that predator going to do? It's going to confirm that you are definitely prey, right? And going to eat you. So do not act like prey and do not act like a victim toward other people. Okay, because in a relationship between two people, victims are treated like the enemy rather than a victim when confronted with people whom you do not know. This is where telling another person your problems will backfire, okay? If you tell them your problems, they're more likely to look at you as someone who's so consumed by your own problems that you're not going to have any concern for them.
But how's that different from being vulnerable? Because I thought that if you're vulnerable and you tell somebody your vulnerabilities, that is sort of
Good.
Being authentic.
Right. Good question.
So how's that different from that?
Okay. So that it doesn't take me a convoluted way to get to the answer to that, I'd like to just have God answer that, if that's okay. Okay. So God says, when you're in an environment of vulnerability, what's happening is you're owning your feelings, your emotions. You know that you're vulnerable. That doesn't mean that other people have to know why you're vulnerable. They simply recognize that something has happened, that you are sensitive, and you could be harmed by their behavior, okay? And you do that by owning your emotions. So if you blurt out something that causes harm, you apologize. You say, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do that. I apologize for that. Or if you correct yourself in front of them, then they'll recognize that you are owning your own emotions and feelings. So you correct yourself in situations that cause other people to lash out at you. That doesn't mean you take the blame. That just means you're looking at your own, why you caused this response in another person. Does that make sense? Okay, because we do things that cause a response in someone else. And if we look for that and we ask them, did I say something to hurt you? Did I say something to make you angry? And they'll either say, no, I'm just having a bad day. Or, yeah, I didn't like it when you said this. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say that. That's not what I meant at all, okay? So you are owning your side of this interaction. Okay, so, and let me just reiterate, telling people your problems can make them say to themselves, I can't trust her, she's too caught up in her own issues to worry about me. Yes, okay, so who wants to do a reading on this topic of what is your heart telling you? Anybody? I'm saving you for another one, okay? You want to? Come on, okay. All right. Tell me your name again.
Tiffany.
Tiffany. Oh, I didn't hear that the first time. All right, Tiffany. So God says that in your most self is something so brilliant, you never even imagined that it's possible. So please know that right now in your life, you are preparing for that time in your life when you express that person you were born to be. Right now, you are just gathering information. You are learning skills. You are developing who you feel like you want to be. Because as you do that, you start to generate all of the symbols and signs that become very clear to you later on when you start to express this very important person. What we recommend, though, is that you learn how to periodically systematize your turbulent nature, okay? Okay, so as you systematize your turbulence, then you are able to recognize when that turbulence is about ready to begin. You start to see the cycles that occur when you systematize what you're doing. Over a period of time, you'll see that this turbulence begins to wax and wane over the conditions of your hormonal structure. Your hormones cause you to overemphasize parts of the turbulence that could be a lot easier to handle for other people if you know when it's about to happen and you can forewarn them. If they are idiotic enough to torment you when you've already warned them, it's their fault, okay? Not yours. But you must know when this is going to happen. You tend to blame yourself when people are doing things toward you that cause you a condition of over-wroughtness. Do you know what that means? You are overwrought with the emotions of other people, okay? And it's because when you were really young, you were forced to handle... You were forced to handle people in your life who caused you to be too responsible at a young age. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So when you were responsible at a young age for things that had nothing to do with you, then you learned that if people want something from you, they're going to constantly want something from you. They're never going to let up. So when somebody asks you just a simple question, you can sometimes overthink the question. Okay? So when you overthink that question, then you cause in yourself an emotional response that people become confused by. They don't understand where that's coming from. But now you know where it's coming from. It's because you were constantly being asked to do things that in your young life was not something you should be doing in your young life. You should be enjoying your life, fully being taken care of, have a sense of belonging, do what it is that your carefree way wanted you to do. But you were always being put upon to do things that made you feel older than you were. Yeah? So when people ask you to do things now, don't think it's because they're going to keep wanting you to do them, and it never ends. It's just that moment, just then, right now. Okay? And block yourself off from the past experiences, because now in your life, guess what? You can say no. You can always say no. There is no one in your life who won't take no for an answer. Yes. I said, you know what that means? Okay.
Yeah.
There's no one in your life, it's a double negative, so it's a little confusing. There's no one in your life now who won't take no for an answer. So long as you express that no in a way that says no, not right?
Yeah.
No means no. So you tell them no. That will relieve you of these feelings of turbulence that give you a feeling of being overwrought with other people's needs. Okay? Okay, one more thing we want you to know, and that is when you find yourself in a situation where other people are being way too caring, meaning they start to make you feel uncomfortable because of how much they care about you, then you let them know that it's okay to surrender to this feeling. In other words, it's okay for them to care about you, but you're okay, and you don't need them to be so caring. Okay? Does that make sense? Yeah? Okay. So, because when people are so caring for you, it makes you really uncomfortable. You're used to caring for other people. Eventually, it's going to be in your life where you will allow others to care for you, and you deserve that. But right now, you need to let go of all of that trouble that having to care for other people at a young age caused in you. Okay? Is that good for now?
Yes, that is.
Okay,
It's
we're
very
good.
right on.
Yeah? Okay, give me a hug.
Thank
Yay.
you.
The recently released book, What to Do When You're Dead, a former atheist interviews the source of infinite being, is a fascinating dialogue between the creator of the universe and the author, Sondra Sneed, who has been in her life to hell and back. Imagine finding out that you may hold the secret to man's survival and that your work is already recorded in the book of life. Well, it's happened to Sondra Sneed, and you get a front row seat to the life of a reluctant messenger bringing forth a message that could save humankind if human beings are willing to listen. Join Sondra Sneed as she takes you on a journey of what to do when you're dead at sondrasneed.com. That's SONDRASNEED.com.